Stuart Smith.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Well, it's fantastic to be at the third reading of this Hurunui Kaikōura earthquake recovery bill. And as I said a little earlier, the people of Kaikōura have really anticipating this moment and getting this bill through. I thought I might take a little moment to reflect on some of the issues that are affecting daily life in that area. For example, it's only just recently that the dairy farmers whose cow sheds were destroyed in the earthquake and whose cows had to walk some distance to be milked, affecting their production, causing some real questions about animal health had that had to continue for some time. And those cows have now been able to get out of the Kaikōura area and are being looked after elsewhere. And that's a huge relief to those farmers and the people of Kaikōura. And I can say a few weeks ago or a couple of weeks ago when I was down there talking to one of the farmers that he was extremely stressed about the animal welfare issues that he was facing and all the extra work that was occurring. And to not have the road open, it took some understanding that actually people weren't taking any silly risks. And I'm pleased they didn't, but at times it's difficult to understand why these things aren't happening, and it really comes down to communication. But it's difficult to get all these things lined up in such a short time. As I said earlier, it's just over 3 weeks since the earthquake, and there's so much has happened in that period of time. But if you're in there living it, it seems like forever, and not much is changing. But things are changing rapidly, and that's starting to dawn on the people of Kaikōura. Today I've had a few business people that I got around and spoke to in Kaikōura, and one of the things that's concerning them is getting supplies in and out because of the convoy nature in and out at different times of the day. Getting trucks to take stock out and back in the same day is not possible because of that convoy system, and it can only be a truck that goes out, it can't be a truck and trailer, and so to get all the stock that are coming up to the peak selling season, to get those stock off farm and out of Kaikōura is a real challenge, a very large challenge, and I know that people are being very patient, and I actually would like to take time to acknowledge Downer Construction, who are working on the roads into from the State Highway 1 from the south and on the inland road, and they have gone the extra mile well and truly to speed up that work. They've done a tremendous amount of work on the road. They've exceeded expectations to date. It's the nature of that work that they could run into something today in trying to clear that road that might delay them quite some time. And I know people are quite frustrated because they don't know when the road's going to open. But I think it would be unfair to make a prediction which inevitably is going to be wrong and then disappoint people or mislead them by putting a date well past when it's likely to be finished either. All they can have is an indication. I think people are coming to those decisions. I'd like to acknowledge and thank Simon Mackle, who is a dairy farmer in Kaikōura, quite a leader in the community, and Simon has rallied the farmers around. He's been a great point of contact, and he, like other people, has been working extremely long hours helping other farmers out. I know his father, Ron, is I think supposed to be retired, but he's probably never worked harder trying to get water systems up and running again that have been destroyed by the earthquake. Again, just adding more work to what is in a really difficult situation. I'd also like to thank the Deputy Mayor, Julie Howden, and her son, Matt, who were kind enough to provide me with transport in Kaikōura. Just despite the fact that there's a lot of rental cars stuck in Kaikōura, they're not suitable to go on the roads, a lot of them, and also once the early stages of recovery started, there were lots of people trying to hire them to get around within Kaikōura itself. So I'd like to thank Julie and Matt. They've been a great support for me and indirectly for the recovery. And of course, Winston Gray, the Mayor of Kaikōura, has really stood up and led a really good, strong team. They have only 20-odd employees in the Kaikōura Council, but boy, have they performed, and I think they really need to be congratulated. They can't ease up yet. There's lots more to do. But back to the bill itself, I think there was a lot of concern about pushing stuff into the sea, and I think that's only really a bit of colourful language to illustrate that we're going to speed things up. It's truncating a process. It's not usurping our environmental obligations at all. And in fact, the people of Kaikōura rely on the paua and crayfish fisheries, and those fisheries rely on the intertidal zone where the juveniles really harbour in that intertidal zone, and it's really important for the safety of that fishery that area is preserved. No one's going to be irresponsible in this recovery, and there will be all due care taken. I'm absolutely confident of that. I think while we tend to be focusing at the moment on Kaikōura, Hurunui is where the epicentre of the earthquake was, particularly in the Waiā area, and I know there's some severely damaged buildings in that area, wrecked cow sheds, among other things, but also significant shifts in land. And those scars will be there for many years to come before they start to heal over a little. But this bill will enable the work to go on that is required to get those roads open. And I think the effort that, as I said, that Downer Construction have made has been phenomenal. But the Hurunui Council has also stepped up, another small council, and I'm pretty sure they are the council with the most kilometres of road per ratepayer in the country. And they've got this tremendous burden now to try and fix those roads, and they are doing a really good job. I drove down the Leader Road, I think it was last week, it might have been this week, I'm not sure what day it was now, but they will just about have that road open next week. In fact, it was Monday, now that my memory's finally come back. But they have gone in and blown that whole road out and fixed it within a very short time. So people can get on and they can get things done. And that is just all about application and the will of the people. And it makes it pretty difficult to drive along that road. And fortunately, most people are staying off it. It's not closed, but it is preferred that traffic doesn't go down that road until it's finished. I called at the Waiā School also on Monday and spoke to Mary, the principal there, and it is amazing how quickly things have turned around in that area, but boy, there's a long way to go for a lot of people. But this earthquake is really about about communication. It's about the roads and the ability to get in and out. I note in some places they are running now fibre optic cable along across the ground. Water pipes are going to be run across the top of the ground for the Kaikōura domestic water supply, and that's a much quicker way to get their water supply up and increase the security of that for the local people in that area. But of course the earthquake goes right up into Marlborough, which also has some significant issues. In fact, on yesterday I was out with Doug Avery, who's well known for his work in the mental health area, and he is organising all of the kind office of help to help people. When these organisations rang up the people, they said, oh no, we don't need help, ring someone else. But he's taken on himself, driving around, organising people, and they're bringing their own lawn mowers and hedge trimmers and coming in and mowing the lawn and trimming their hedges. Sounds like a little thing, but it's a huge weight off people's minds who don't have the time to do that. So, Mr. Speaker, as I said, this is going to be a very welcome piece of legislation, and it is really marks the start of the recovery, and I commend the bill to the House.